the programming language is basically you are communicating with your computer, right? So if else is a logic where you tell to perform some simple task. For example, you tell them that if this is the case, if this happens, then do this, otherwise do that. So that's nothing but if else in a nutshell. And how you have to tell that, how you have to write the code, that's what we'll be looking into. Before seeing what exactly is this, we'll talk about the idea of indentation in Python, right? So for example, let's say I'm writing if, then here you will be writing the condition, right? And then you have to define the space of this if condition, right? So let's say I'll simply, okay, yeah. So you'll be defining the space of this condition, like what are the different codes, different lines of code that will be, executed if you, if this condition is true, right? So let's say, let's say run this code. Right. And if else condition is there, and in the else condition, when this condition is not true, then the program flow will come into this else part, and here it will do the things, right? So for example, run in case of false condition, right? So this particular thing will be running in case when this condition is false. When true condition. Okay, so there is one thing that you have to understand. There is a indentation that I'm talking about, right? So this is the indentation level, right? You have to maintain it. If you break it over here, right? So this means that you have break the indentation. So if condition has only this particular thing to run, if condition will not have access to run this particular line, and also that will be an error because that is not properly indented, right? So you have to understand, you define the scope of any statement by using this indentation, right? So you see, this is if statement and I'm indenting all three blocks. So that means these three blocks are under this if condition. So if this condition is true, then it is going to run all these three lines of code. Okay. If I'm writing anything here, will not run. Right. So that's the idea of indentation. Okay. And if you're writing another if statement over here, then condition 2, let's say, then once again you have to indent your block, right? So see, we'll see a lot of examples, and in those examples you'll be able to see all these indentation, right? So no issues for that as well. Okay, so we'll look into multiple examples from now. All right. Second level of indentation, and this was the first level of indentation. So you can also indent your block over here. So there should be also the corresponding else block for this. Okay. So that's the if else here. I can make it a raw and be convert. All right. So let's try to understand how exactly we write a real code in if else in Python, right? So let's say we have a condition x is equals to let's say 10, right? And then we have to write like if, and then here will be a condition I told you. So the condition that you can define anything. For example, I'm defining x is greater than 0. So this condition where x is greater than 0, this will be true or false. It will be true because the value of x is 10 and 10 is greater than 0. So it will be true, right? So, and then you can simply write any print statement. Let's say, x is greater than 0, and you can simply write another print statement, print this is true case, right? All that. And else, in the else condition you can write um let's say print, you can write any print statement, right? Hi, this is else, hi, this is else, print the condition is false. Right. So if I run it, see what is running, it is running the if part only. And if I, let's say, write it over here, so see, it is giving you the error that the syntax is wrong. That is because this particular code is not following the syntax, right? This is not the correct indentation, right? So, and also let's say here, if I write something like this, so it says unindented does not match any other indentation level, right? So this basically should match the indentation, right, with the previous ones. Okay, so now if you simply run it, so you have got the indentation error, so you have to properly match it. So you can do like this, okay? And let's say if this condition is not, correct, then it will go into the else block. See, that's how it simply runs it, right? You know, now you understand the indentation, the idea of indentation, and then this is how the if else work. So there will be an if statement and a condition. If that condition is true, that will go and run under the inside if. Otherwise, it will go and run inside the else condition. So that's what it means also, right? If this, then do this, otherwise do else, right? So that's what it does. So I hope you guys were able to understand that. Okay. Yeah, so you can also have, let's say, let's understand some more detail, different types of it. So let's say, what if we do, if instead of writing a condition, because this condition will be evaluated into either true or false, right? This condition will be evaluated in either true or false. So other than this, what we can do, we can simply make it true or false, right? So this is a constant true or false, right? So I'm simply running always true because it is never going to have a false condition because it is a constant true, right? You can also have a variable, store the results into that. Let's say b is equals to false. And then you can, instead of if true, you can give b here. So whatever the store is. So b is having false, right? So it will search for the else condition. So there is no else part of it. So it will simply do nothing, right? So it will simply do nothing in this case, right? So if you write the else part of it, so see, this Python is very flexible that it will even consider, all the cases if there is, no else as well, right? So if you are writing only if, no else, then that will also be valid code. It will not have any impact, right? So that will be correct code as well. So print right, so it is coming and it says not true. Right, so this was pretty basic logic of if else. Now I hope you guys are able to understand the if else logic, right? So other than this, you can also, so let's have some example, let's understand with some examples, and then we'll have some more in-depth of the same, right? So let's say the very famous example of this if else is nothing but getting this um, getting this even and odd numbers in Python. So if you remember, we had a modulo operator, right? So if you have a modulo operator, right? So let's say you have a number n is equals to 9, and then if you do n modulo 2, so what will you get? You will get the remainder. So if you divide 9 by 2, so what remainder will you get?
1.
1. If n is 8, and then what remainder will you get? Okay, I run it. It will be 0. Right. So you can see here, if a number is even, then you will get a remainder as 0. So that's nothing but the full divisor. If the number is odd, then you will get a remainder as 1, right? So in this case, what you can do, you can simply write if n modulo 2 equal to 0, then what is this case? Even or odd?
Even.
Even, right? And if it is not so, else, and then here what will be printing? Odd. All right. So you see, if the number is 3, then it says odd. If the number is 8, then it says even, right? Okay, so now I hope you understand these pretty basic things. And alternatively, let's say if I change this 0 to 1, then what else we'll have to change to work it correctly? Yeah, so we need to change the cases, right? So this will be odd case and this will be even case, right? And then it will work fine. Okay, so that's something you have to take care whenever you are doing the whenever you are doing the whenever you are programming the logic, then you have to take care of these things. So what is what condition, so you have to understand that. So now I hope you have pretty basic idea about what this if else is and what you can do on this, right?